You're watching KDCG, uniquely Acadiana, a Delta Media station.
Right here, right now, it's LA South. I'm Pamela Kay, heading on over to the Zoo of Acadiana with George Oldenburg, and we're going to check out tortoises, we're going to check out monkeys leaping all around, and we're going to test George's knowledge. Supposedly there are more than 750 different animals at the Zoo of Acadiana, and I want to know if he knows the names of every single one. Coming up next. George Oldenburg has a really unique story. He left polo cologne and suits behind with the banking industry for some really wild times.
I love being outside, love animals. I love my job at the bank as well. But I mean, be around guys like this is a lot better than dealing with customers. But these are, right here, spider monkeys. This is Romeo and Juliet. They have what you call a prehensile tail. As you can see, she can grab the little treats with her tail. He's going to use his hands. Now, these primates, as you see on their hands, they don't have thumbs. On their feet, they have thumbs. So they can, easy for them to swing at the top on branches, and they can still grab things. Give me a tail, girl. And if you see at the end of her tail, it's smooth, like the palm of their hands. Now, even though these little primates right here look friendly, we take caution if we have to go into the exhibit with them, because not only do you have two hands to watch, you also have 2 feet and those tails.
Just like dealing with customers at the bank?
Now, I didn't have any 4-legged customers at the bank. But no, the banking job that I had was wonderful. I had a good job, worked with a lot of real nice people. I'm still friends with them. And I just wanted to change. And I was getting to the point in, well, I guess my age, that if I didn't do something then, I would never do it. And my boys were, I have 3 boys, they were at an age where I felt like this is something that they would enjoy working with me. And they worked with me during the summer months, and that was great. I can't regain those years again, and we spent a lot of good time, worked hard, and did a whole lot of work over here, and just to witness them growing up over the summer, you know, them developing, and they loved it as well. My oldest son wants to definitely take the zoo over. The other 2, I think it might be a little bit too much work for them. I can't say I have any regrets other than it's not just the animals, it's a complete business. I have to, you know, it's making sure we have the proper animal feed, the proper staffing, the enclosures need to be maintained. It's a lot of work. It's 7 days a week. It's not, on Friday I don't get to go home and come back Monday and start over. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday as well. Not that I regret it. It has taken away from spending a lot of time at home, but when you do something that you love, you don't feel like you're working, and clearly I love doing this. I've been doing it for 10 years now.
All right, so we are in the Zoo of Acadiana's private veterinary clinic.
Right. We, fortunately, we don't have any animals back here that are sick, but we use it for our nursery as well. These are some tortoises that we've incubated the eggs and raised these. They're from areas that our climate is not right for these eggs to properly incubate once they're laid. You have a very short window of opportunity to pull the tortoise eggs and then to incubate them. You can't move them around. Unlike a chicken egg, the embryo attaches to the egg sac. So if you would turn that tortoise egg, it would detach and the embryo would die. So perfectly still. We keep them in an incubator at 98.5 degrees for right at about 90 days, and then these guys start hatching. They're small when they hatch. This is a leopard tortoise right here, and this would be a spur-thighed tortoise. These guys get very tall. Their shell will stick up real high, and this is a good example of how it's going to be mounted. Kind of has the spots of a leopard. This is a
very unique shell.
Spur-thigh, and beautiful shell right here. These will get very large. They'll weigh quite a bit and can live a long time, 40, 50, 60 years.
Now in Cajun country, people eat things like turtle soup.
I don't think they eat these kind, but I would imagine they would eat turtles, but these are tortoises. Now, these guys, these spur-thighs, get very large, and they actually can't swim. So if they got into deep water, they would drown. So we have to make sure their diet consists of something that has a high moisture content. So as you can see, a lot of fresh greens is what they'll get. And looks like a mess in here right now, but by the end of the day, all of that will be eaten. So the bigger ones that we have out on the exhibit certainly eat a good whole head of lettuce, and we'll put tomatoes, cucumbers, just it's like a nice garden salad. Now, we have to make sure that our larger ones have access to heat during the cold temperature. So once it gets to be about 65 degrees, we do have heat lamps and a structure they can go into.
What size do these get before you transfer them to an outside enclosure?
Well, probably about twice the size of this, and then we can move them on out. But we have a place for them to be outside during the summer months. We just moved them in because it's been getting kind of cold lately. When these guys are born, or when the egg starts to hatch, they'll break a small hole in the egg itself, and you can see their eye, and they just kind of look around for a while. They eventually come out. Now, if they were in the ground, it'll be packed down pretty hard, and they have to work to get out. But the underneath, the yolk actually still sticks out, and they can't even touch the ground a lot of times because the yolk is still that big. And these guys will get real big. If you don't want to cut grass at your house, get a couple of large spur-thighs. They will eat every blade of grass that you have. Now, I do have some eggs that we pulled a few weeks back that we're incubating right now. I can show you. Store. Now, these eggs are placed on a screen so they can't roll around. These eggs right here are from a spur-thighed tortoise. That'd be the real big tortoise. And these over here actually came from the leopard tortoise exhibit. So the female will start digging a hole, and she works real hard. She'll dig a pretty deep hole, and then she'll lay the eggs. And this is just from one clutch right here, over 20 eggs that were laid. And when they come out, the shells are soft, and it kind of comes out in a real thick liquid. And what we do is we get them, we don't move them, put them in here, and start the incubation process right away. So these are pulled probably sometime in October. These were in September. So we'll know the date to start looking, and they won't all hatch the same day. Probably take about a week for all of them to hatch. Our success rate has been very good with them. So the keepers will come in. We make sure we do have some moisture in there, not real wet, but we make sure the temperature is just right. And we definitely do not bump this shelf or move this, because any movement would cause the embryo to die. So
no scrambled eggs.
No scrambled eggs.
You have over 45 acres with over 750, counting the fish, family members here on the property. And you told me that you know the names of all of them. So we're going to find out if you really do.
Okay.
So here's the test. I'm going to randomly call out a few names that your coworkers have compiled for me. And we're going to see if you know just how well you know your family members.
Okay.
Who is Rascal?
Rascal. Rascal is a bird.
Be more specific.
Yellow-headed Amazon.
Outstanding. Sonny and Cher.
Sonny and Cher. Sonny and Cher would be right behind you. Those are log-gibbon monkeys.
Who is Osiris?
Osiris. Osiris is our leopard.
Who is Lady Goo Goo?
That is a goose that walks around the zoo.
Who is Bob?
Bob is short for Robert, who is our bobcat.
Casper.
Well, that's easy. That's a caracal lynx.
Thunder chicken.
Thunder chicken. Thunder chicken lives in the back, and it's a chicken. It's a rooster, actually.
We've heard that one snake crawled up your pants leg. I'm assuming that's not part of the